Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Namaste. Now we move on to the next chapter, Chitra Abhinaya, varied representations. Here in this chapter, Bharata has given a variety of representation. Of course, through hastas, through Angika Abhinaya, etc. But what is the difference? In the chapters of Hasta, he has spoken about a particular Hasta to be used for different situations or representing different things. But here he has taken a concept, and for that what has to be done, how it has to be represented, taking the seasons, the situations, moving around, etc. here. So let us see the shloka. He starts this chapter with the shloka. Anghabhinayasyeha yo visheshaha kvachit kvachit anukta uchyate chitraha sa chitrabhinayaha smritaha. It means the speciality in the representation through gestures and the like, which occurs from time to time but has not been maintained before. When stated in diverse ways, it is known as varied representation. Now, what are they? The representation of day, night, seasons, etc. For example, to indicate morning and evening, day and night seasons, clouds, forest region, wide expanse of water, directions, planets, stars, and anything that is somewhat fixed, one is to make the following gestures. What are they? Two hands raised with pataka and the swastika, crossed gestures, udvahita, head looking up, and the eyes also according to that particular situation. So here he takes up a particular object on the sky and he explains how it has to be performed through the hand movement, the head movements, the eye movements, etc. Next, he explains how to look at the objects on the ground with the same gesture looking downwards. It can be to show the objects on the ground. Then the moonlight, happiness, etc. can be revealed or represented through gestures representing the touch and horripilation. The sun, dust and the smoke can be represented through the heat, showing the heat, and the midday sun can be represented through going out and half shut eyes, and the pleasant objects, sharp objects, all these are to be represented in different ways. He also talks about the different ornaments, how it has to be shown, the audible, visible objects, how it has to be shown, like you show the hands, keep the hands near your ears, or you look through your eyes in Sachi. All these are to be represented. And how to show the lightning and the shooting stars, the hot wind, heat, and not only these, the lions and the bears like monkeys, tigers, though they have individual hastas, along with the whole body movement it has to be shown. And he also gives the idea to express the numerals. 1, 2, 3, how they are to be shown. The umbrellas, banner staffs, and how past and present activities should be shown. And not only this, he starts explaining the activities connected with the seasons: autumn, early winter, winter, and how these are to be represented through Hasta Abhinaya. The Hemanta Rutu, the Shishira Rutu, all these are to be represented not only to the Hastas but also the various activities happening during that period. Like if you take a winter season, it can be indicated through representing the smelling of the flowers, drinking wine, etc., which are favorable to that particular season. Then the spring season, summer, rains, and the rainy night. And he talks about the seasons in general. And he also connects the determinants and the vibhavas and the anubhavas in relation to this. Here he says, Bhava abhinayanam kuryat vibhavanam nidarshanaihi tathaiva cha anubhavanam bhavat siddhihi prakirtita. The psychological states should be indicated by the representation of vibhavas, and similarly the psychological states are also indicated or accomplished by the representation of the consequence such as anubhavas. Vibhavas and anubhavas are very, very important factors to be determined by the playwright and also by the actors. Though it is in the lyric or it is in the poem, it has to be represented by the actors. So for that, the director should take responsibility. So this chapter especially connects to improvise the vibhava and the anubhavas. How the seasons are to be represented during the expression of rati, the build-up of the situation, vibhavas, the causes for the rati will be built by the writer. So it has to be enacted by the actor or the dancer. So for that representation, these hastas which are given earlier should be used here. Though Bharata has not given each and every hasta for these elements, you have to connect this with the chapter of hastas. The 8th chapter where the Anga Abhinaya is given, the 9th chapter where the Hasta Abhinaya is given, and of course the 10th chapter where the Sharira Abhinaya is given. All these are to be connected with these chapters and represented on the stage. So the psychological states are to be represented. So he says the acts connected with the determinants, that is the vibhavas, should be represented by means of the consequence, that is the anubhavas, and the psychological states relate to the representation of one's own self, and the determinants relates to an exhibition of another person in relation to the self, that is vibhavena hritam karyam anubhavena rupyate atmanubhavanam bhavo vibhavaha paradarshanam. So this vibhava creates that space and it is to be experienced by the onlookers. Here the determinants, the vibhavas can also be a preceptor, a friend, an affectionate companion, sakha, a relation from the mother's or the father's side, can also be treated as the causes for that particular incident. Either it can be Sringara based or it can be Veera based. So these vibhavas are to be created and represented through anubhavas. What are anubhavas? Yastvasya sambhramothanam ardhasana parigraha पूजनं क्रियते vacha, so anubhavaha prakirtitaha. The honor shown by him by rising from the seat, by offering him presents and a seat, and by using respectful words are the consequence. When somebody comes, when you get up and show your gratitude or respect to the other person, it is the anubhava, the consequence for that vibhava, that cause. So here these are to be presented through variegated expressions. That is how this is brought in this chapter called Chitrabhinaya. So the reply to a message given to the messenger is also a consequent, that is the anubhava. So he says, in these ways the determinants and consequence are to be represented by men as well as women. Now he connects the sthanas. He says, how do you represent it on the stage? In the representation of their own nature, men should assume Vaishnava posture, Vaishnava sthana. Women can assume ayata or avahita posture. So these are the sthanas given in the 11th and 13th chapter of Natya Shastra, which we had seen earlier. There occurring special need for the same, other postures may also be introduced. The different sthanas can also be introduced, he says. And the efforts of men should be characterized by patience as well as sportive limbs, and those of women by delicate angaharas, that is the graceful movements of the body. The movements of the limbs can be lalita in women and dhira in men, or uddhata, forceful, in men. So here again he talks about the words, how they are to be represented. Representation of the meaning of the words are to be made differently by men and women. So the representation, the speech, the vachana will be different from the men's perspective and from the female's perspective. So the joy should be shown by the actress by embracing oneself through horripilation, which is a sattvika bhava. Then the anger through upturned red eyes, biting of lips, etc. Jealousy, anger of women should be shown through tearful eyes, tremor of the chin and the lips, shaking of the heads, knitting of the eyebrows, keeping silent, curling of the fingers, giving up the garlands and the ornaments. These are all seen in the different songs where we represent the jealousy women. And of course, even in the vachanas, in the performance of drama, Sanskrit drama presentation, we have all these. Men's sorrow can be represented through breathing, sighing, downcast face, etc. Women's sorrow can be expressed through weeping, striking at the chest, little bit more than men. Then men's fear, how it has to be represented. Feminine fear, how it has to be represented. Women in intoxicated condition, men in intoxicated condition. Finally, he says these are all the rules which are to be followed. These are all the rules which are to be followed by the director of the play. Other than that, he also adds how the birds are to be represented through fingers, hastas. Some like Tripataka hasta also. Then big birds can be represented through angaharas. We have many karanas to represent the birds. There are many angaharas which are connected with that. We have the Garuda, Garuda Plutakam, Grudra Avalinakam, Mayura Lalitam. All these Karanas are connected with the representation of the birds. And animals, there are many Karanas connected with animals also. So accordingly you have to represent the animals through their own gaits, he say. So naturally we have to go to the chapter of the gaits and of course the chapter of the Karanas, where there are many Karanas representing the elephant, the gait of the elephant, Gajakriditakam, Harinaplutakam, the jump of the Harina, and the movement of Rishabha, Rishabhakriditakam, Simhavikriditam, Simhakarshitam, Nagapasarpitam. All these are connected with the movements of the animals. So it can be done as a dance form or a dramatized form. So if you see in the theatre forms, we need not make it more as a dance, but the same movement can be done in a dramatized way. But when you are showing it in a dance, it can be more with thala and more with the gati of the counts, not only the walk but the thala counts of gatis. So this is the difference between the same movement shown in Natya and the same movement shown in Nritta or Nritya. Then how to represent the Bhutas and Pishachas. Then greeting the gods of superior nature. Then he talks about how to show the mountains, tall trees, etc. We already saw the Aharya Binaya chapter, which has the representation of the mountains through Aharya. So it can be kept as a prop, but it should also be understood that it can be shown through Angika Abhinaya also. So this is where even the final fourth form in the chapter of Aharya, which talks about Satjiva, where the animal-like figures are brought on stage, that is also similar to the animals, but it can be worn by a man. The Aharya of an animal can be depicted through an actor. So these here he says how they are to be shown through hastas, and these are all connected with the vibhavas and the anubhavas. So these vibhavas are to be sometimes explained by the actor himself through the hastas, the tree and the parrot therein. All these are to be along with the vachanas. There it need not be the Aharya itself. So the Auchitya is to be taken care of, where to use the Aharya and where to use the Angika. Then he talks about how to represent the wide expanse of water to show through two Pataka hastas. You also have these in the Vinyoga of Pataka. The chapter which talks about the uses of Pataka, also the shloka represents the Pataka is to be used to show the wide expanse of water. Then house in darkness and the love sick condition, the cursed people, the possessed persons. And he also talks about the Akasha Bhashita, where you talk towards the sky because there is no people around. And speaking aside, this is one of the action where you have to speak aside, but the person who is nearby will not be hearing. It is to be understood that though your voice will be allowed, because the audience have to hear it. The Tripataka Hasta used is given. And all these private address, personal address, thinking within oneself, speaking to one's ears like a secret, concealed speaking, how you speak, this is where you use the Tripataka Hasta. You conceal yourselves and speak to your friend. Then he also gives about the repetition of words. It has to be repeated again and again in such sequences, and how you have to stop or suspend the representation. He also adds that in the state of dreaming, there will not be any action happening. So only the person who is dreaming will be seen on the stage. And while sleeping, speaking while in sleep, sometimes it has to be repeated again. Recollection of the past events and speech of the old people, children's speech, divine speech, dying speech, representation of the death on the stage, though it is not to be represented on the stage. What are all the stages to move on to that? Move on to the representation of the death. Death can be caused due to disease. And he also gives the 8 stages of death due to drinking the poison. They are again the stages where you have to show that these incidents used to be occurring in the drama. That is why all these are explained more. Because not only drinking the poison, but also due to the going on expedition in the forest, fighting sequences, where they are bit by the wild animals, bit by snakes. So the showing of death is not allowed on the stage, but it has to be slowly shown as sequences. That is why he has given 8 stages, and the final stage will not be shown, but the 8 stages of the death will be shown. Of course, how the eyes are to be sunken, depressed cheek, tremor, the kampana, then the burning sensation, then the hiccups, froth in the mouth, breaking of the neck, paralysis, etc. And finally, the death. And again he says, there is, according to the dramatic convention, Natya Dharma, it should be represented by closure of the eyes. So this is how it has to be represented on the stage, through Natya Dharmi. It should not be represented very realistic as a Lokadharmi episode. That is how these stages are to be shown on the stage. This is a beautiful shloka in this chapter of Chitra Abhinaya. Nana vidaihi yata pushpaihi malyam gratnati malyakrit angopangair rasair bhavais tatha natyam prayojayet. He says, just as the garland maker garlands from various kinds of flowers, the drama should be produced similarly by gestures of different limbs and by different states and sentiments. Movements gaits that have to be prescribed by the rules for a character which has entered the stage should be maintained by the actor without rigidity till he makes an exit. So, as he enters onto the stage, he has to maintain that particular character till he exits the stage. So, these are all very important things to be noted by the writers, and they have to be very correct in defining the Shastras in their presentations of drama or poetic sequences. And this has to be followed by the directors, and the same has to be followed by the actors. Next comes the important shloka. We remember in the first chapter when the rishis ask 5 questions, they ask Kim Pramanascha? What is the pramana for Natya? Here he replies, Loko Vedas Tathadhyatmam Pramanam Trividham Smritam Vedadhyatma Padarteshu Prayo Natyam Pratishtitam. The people, the Vedas and the spiritual faculty, Adhyatma, are known as the 3 authorities. The drama is mostly based on these objects related to the last 2, that is the Veda and the Adhyatma. First one is the Loka, second one is the Veda, and third one is the Adhyatma. So, the drama which has its origin in the Veda and the spiritual faculty, that is the Adhyatma, and includes proper words and meter, succeeds when it is approved by the people. So, the Loka is the final one. It has to be approved by the people. Hence, the people are considered to be the ultimate authority on drama. Veda Adhyatmopapannam tu Shabda Chandaha Samanvitam Loka Siddham Bhaved Siddham Natyam Loka Swabhavajam Tasmad Natya Prayoge tu Pramanam Lokaishyate. Devatanam, next he says, the mimicry of the gods, sages, kings as well as of the householders in the world is called drama. So, you have to mimic these persons. Krita Anukaranam Loke Natyamittya Bidiyate. So, when you repeat the actions, Evam lokasya ya vartha nana avastaratmika Nana avastantaratmika Sa natye samvidhatavya Natye veda vichakshanaihi. Thus the events, the varta relating to the people in all the different conditions may be included in a play by those well versed in the Natya Veda. Yani Shastrani, ye dharma, yani shilpani, yaha kriyaha. Loka dharma pravrittani, tani natyam prakirtitam. Whatever shastras, laws, arts and activities are connected with the human practice may be produced as a drama. He says these are very, very important shlokas which are definitions of drama. Nacha shakyam hi lokasya sthavarasya charasya cha shastrena nirnayam karthum bhava cheshtavidham prati. He says rules regarding the feeling and activities of the world, movable as well as immovable, cannot be formulated exhaustively by the Shastra. So, the people have different dispositions, and on their dispositions, drama rest. So whatever happens in the world is treated and performed as a drama. So hence, playwrights and producers should take the people as their ultimate authority. It is from the people and to the people. Thus, the Prayogtra, should pay attention to the feeling, gestures and the sattva in representing the psychological states through various characters that may appear in a drama. So he says, Tasmal loka pramanam hi kartavyam natya yoktribihi. Evam bhavanukarane nana prakriti sambhave. Bhava anga sattva samyukto yatnaha karyaha prayoktribihi. The men who know in the order of the art of histrionic representation and applies it on the stage receives in this world the highest honor for putting into practice the theory of drama as well as the acting, that is the abhinaya. So, he is the person who puts into practice the theory. So, that is how the theory travels into practice. So, he is the person who is the director of the play, or who is the producer of the play, or who is the writer of the play, who is able to produce the Shastra and take it as a prayoga and release it to the audience. And thus, this chapter ends, he says, Nyayastu abhinaya hyete vang nepatya anga samshrayaha prayogajnena kartavya natake siddhim ischata. If you intend on the production, on the success of the production, then you have to accordingly use the representation through the words, costumes, makeup and gestures, he says. Thus, he ends the chapter on Chitra Abhinaya and moves on to the success of the production. Namaste.